Hey everybody, this is Roy Canaday, and today we're going to be taking a look at the robot programming game Quirky Circuits. Let's get into it. In Quirky Circuits, players are trying to program their robot to basically do different tasks depending on the scenario before they run out of battery. Basically, the way this works is depending on the player count, you'll draw a different number of cards into your hand, and then each player will have a hand of cards that will do several different things, whether it's moving forward, going backwards, turning your robot all the way around, moving forward 3 spaces or 2 spaces, or turning left and right. So as this happens, each player is going to have to play at least one card into basically a row here. So basically you'll have a hand of cards and each player will kind of be playing something out. And then you'll be trying to figure out how to execute the actions in a certain way. The whole time you're not allowed to communicate anything about strategy, what you have in your hand, what kind of cards you have. But as you notice, some of the cards on the back here will have whether they are turn cards or move forward cards. After everybody has put out cards and you have like at least 5 out there, then you will reveal those cards and kind of execute the actions. If you bump into anything as Gizmo, you're going to kind of turn, and then also there's cards that let you move, so you'll be moving forward. In this scenario, you're trying to collect all of the dust bunnies out there, and whenever you run into something, you'll turn left. And then basically you're trying to move Gizmo around until you actually get to a point where you're actually kind of grabbing all of those. After the 5 cards have come out, then the battery will move down. You'll refill your hand back up to the hand size for the player count, and then you will play cards again. You're basically trying to do this until your battery runs until you either collect all the dust bunnies, or if the battery runs all the way out to 0, you lose. And basically each scenario is going to be slightly different. You also have these quirk cards that aren't going to tell you what they are on the back, which will be kind of unique and allow you to do slightly different things, whether it be to turn, but people aren't going to necessarily know that you are turning, different things like that. There's also a card here that lets you know all of the different types of movements in the deck, so you can kind of see, oh hey, they might have this in their hand or not have that in their hand, but you can't verbalize any of that. The rulebook says if you're inclined to try to say something about your strategy or what's in your hand, just say beep, boop, boop, boop instead. But you can lay your hand on the table to say, hey, we don't need to play more than 5 cards this round. There's also scenarios with Penny as well. So Penny is kind of cool because Penny has cards that will move like all the way forward straight and things like that. You'll have to move your character all the way in a straight line. So you'll basically move all the way until you finish. And a lot of these scenarios you're trying to collect flags and basically turn. These also have one-way jump sort of areas, like you can't go up this hill, but if you were up here, you could run all the way down and things like that. But you're basically trying to collect all the flags before your battery runs all the way out. And you can see here, once again, you have slightly different setup of cards, less things that turn all the way around, but lots more cards that allow you to move straight forward all the way. So slightly unique characters there. And another thing is I really enjoy the way the miniatures look for these. They're just really cute sculpts, really cutesy look. There's several different scenarios in the book as well, so you have a few with each character. They're going to have slightly different rules of things you can do, and just different ways you can go back and forth under this underground passage, but it doesn't go up on the top there. And then like you're trying to go around and collect the dust bunnies in different areas, and you can't, if you bump into certain things, you're going to bump off the potted plants and you're going to have new things you have to clean up. Just different scenarios that are super cute and super interesting as you can play through and give you a little bit of replayability and complexity as the game goes along, making it slightly more gamery as it goes on, and just kind of giving you a whole bunch of different scenarios and a bunch of different maps to play on as you play through Quirky Circuits. I would like to note here that the rules easily go into lots of details about how each of the scenarios work, and there's also a practice mode here which makes the game playing easier for kids, where you can play with the cards face up instead of face down, basically allowing you to kind of have that communication if you're playing with younger ones. Alright, that is Quirky Circuits, a robot programming game. Let's get into it and see what I think. So for me, I actually really enjoy programming games and the headspace of trying to figure out what the other players are kind of playing during the game. I've played this game with gamers, I played this game with my kids, I played it with a bunch of different groups, I played it during live streams here on the Dice Tower, and overall I enjoy the game. I think it's fun trying to get in the heads of the other players as you're playing with other gamers, being like, do they have that card? And the fact that the backs of the cards show you whether it's a turn or a move, you can kind of guess where we're all kind of trying to lead the robot as we go along. And the fact that there's more and more complex scenarios, you can kind of play it at a higher difficulty level. But I normally like introducing this game to new people, so I end up playing the first scenarios over and over again, just because it's kind of like an interesting, quirky little game. Hence the title, Quirky Circuits. I've also played this several times with my kids, and we do a little bit of playing it out face up sometimes when they first start playing, but we did play it face down later on as they got a little bit older. I played the old version of this and the new version. This has less characters, slightly less maps, a little bit less complexity, and makes it a little bit more simple. I think this one's a little bit more geared towards mass market and easier to get to the table with smaller kids and things like that. Overall, I'm going to give this, for me, I think I'm going to give it a 7. I also think that it works well with kids, so kid approved as well. But yeah, if you're looking for a game that has that programming stuff in there, you'll probably enjoy this one. If you're not into programming style games or games where you're not allowed to talk to the other players, I mean, the whole gimmick of this game is just the fact that you can't talk and spell out how you're turning, what you're doing, and just kind of the funny situations of like, oh man, I thought you weren't going to move this way or move that way. It's very lighthearted and kind of silly and extremely cute, but if you enjoy Quirky Circuits, you might enjoy this one, or if you enjoy programming style games, you might enjoy this one. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this review, and check out Quirky Circuits if that seems like something you or your family would be into. And this is Roy, and I'll see you on the next one.